Hey, good afternoon. We're here live at Exodus Institute, 816 North Laramie, Chicago, Illinois. My name is Ed James. I happen to be the president of Exodus Institute, and we're going to have a variety of discussions of things that's going on in our world, in our neighborhoods, our communities, our personal lives, and some of the things that we may enhance and be able to change and to do. I happen to have a guest over here today with me, and he's a very distinguished gentleman that happened to do a bunch of wonderful things. He's been sent here to Exodus to kind of help enhance our program and going to bless us with some wonderful things. And he's a very powerful brother, but I think the Spirit may have led him to come over here because it was by coincidence that he came. I'm going to let him introduce himself because he may have a better way of doing it. I'm getting a little feedback too much. I'm too close. All right, so you can take your mic and go ahead on and speak.
Well, my name is Stan Stubbs. I'm a songwriter, producer, teacher, mentor, inventor. I normally tell people when they ask me who am I and what I do, I just tell them I'm a writer from A to Z. Yeah, that's a short one.
Yes, that is probably on some of the say.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for quite a while. I've nominated for Stellar Awards and Grammys. And I've started a lot of artist careers, and I've taught a lot of people. And basically, people call me in to create infrastructures in the industry. Work with a lot of people across the board, secular gospel, hip hop, rap, all those things.
Okay.
That's enough, right?
That's quite a bit, but you can go ahead on and tell about all those other, some of those schools and how. I like the story that you tell about. I was speaking about Hannibal and how he was over at Farragut, and you were telling me something about your mother. There was something about her that I got blessed with some of them school lunchroom cookies the other day. I'm diabetic, but that's all right. I ran my sugar up to 256 because I got some of them lunchroom cookies.
Okay.
But listen, when you get a chance, that's why they made medicine. So I had to take some medicine to get that sugar back down.
Right.
But it's a blessing. And I want you to elaborate up on some of those things and how you got blessed even by your mom.
It's interesting you say that. My mom was my biggest fan. She passed 2 years ago.
Hi, we're live here at Exodus Institute. Once again, my name is Ed James. We're at 816 North Laramie. We do this every Wednesday from 12 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We want to hear from you what you have to express yourself from the neighborhood, the community, the world, the city of Chicago, whatever is pressing on your heart, your mind, or whatever is going on that you need to get out here so that people can hear about it. Even if you got something great and wonderful, we definitely want to hear from you because we've had enough in the news of all the sorrowful stuff. But today I got some exciting news from a couple of people that are going to be on this show today, maybe 3 people. But I want to start off with this gentleman over here to my left. And he's a very, very important gentleman. He's got so many things. He's got his hands in so many things and has been blessed with a bunch of wonderful things. And his mom made the best butter cookies in the world. So we're going to pass this mic over to him and he can elaborate upon everything that he does, and then he'll tell about those cookies.
My name is Stan Stubbs. I'm a songwriter, producer, teacher, from A to Z. In the industry, I've been doing it for over 40 years. I'm young.
All right.
I'm young. I've been blessed. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, North Lawndale.
Right, west side.
West side, Missouri. And when you were talking about, I'm gonna jump right into it with my mom. My mom was, she passed a couple of years ago, and she was my biggest fan, and she was big in the community. She was, her full-time job was a lunchroom manager in pretty much all the schools on the west side of Chicago.
Amen.
As you elevate, when you go from school to school in the lunchroom system, it's a raise. And she, like almost every year, they were trying to move her.
Okay.
So she worked at Crane, Farragut.
Cougars.
She worked at Sullivan, Kelly, Anderson, a lot of grade schools. So you can imagine, I went to Whitney Young, right?
All right. Yeah.
And so as soon as I get in, they see my name, they knew me because they knew my mom.
There you
The
go.
lunchroom people. But not only that, she was also a Girl Scout leader
All right.
in the area, and so every Friday our house was filled with girls.
Okay.
I was a happy kid.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was real happy. You know, going to camp in the summer, you know, Girl Scout camp. Brother, for real. I was happy. The thing about her is that she encouraged us to do music. She was very creative. She would allow me to rehearse my band in the living room.
Okay.
And then sometimes we'd go in the garage. And I'm gonna tell you how powerful she was. Our neighbor she just was a sad person, just always complaining. She called the cops on us for hurting in our garage. The cops came and saw my mom
Okay.
and knew my mom.
They knew them cookies,
They
didn't
knew the cookies, and they knew my mom. So my mom was like, hey, you know. So the conversation wasn't about the kids because we in the garage, we on our own property. They couldn't say nothing. We weren't doing anything bad.
they? Right.
You know, I mean, we could have been out there beating up people and stealing and robbing, but we in there creating. So they never bothered us, you know.
Okay.
So she was part of the block club, and we had the best block club parties. And
I know you did.
and it evolved, and I eventually became president of the block club when I got older. But anyway, as a teacher, songwriter, producer, teacher, I've been blessed to write and been nominated for Stellas and Grammys and a lot of stuff like that. But I love to help develop and create infrastructures in the industry, consult. I've been blessed to travel. I've been to Brazil twice, writing and producing out there. I work in a Brazilian church here in Chicago. I speak Swahili, Spanish, Portuguese. I didn't know that until I started working. That was a gift. That's a gift. So that's who I am. That's what I do, man. I mean, in a nutshell.
Okay, and you are blessed to have all those languages because all I ever did was a teenage language, you know, the Kuzama, Kuzadi, and all that good stuff. But your mom took care and got you all in this stuff, got you affiliated in this music and everything, and you seem to want to come back and give because we're over here working with the youth in the community. We have the senior program. We figured that the seniors can help raise and develop. We have a whole village right here in Exodus. Even though they're here at different times, they still could share different things. Because one of the things that we shared, some of the youth shared with our camera crew, was that they have nowhere to release different things where adults can go to bars and different things and go do whatever those other pharmaceutical stuff. The children are kind of left out without having anything to release that, you know, and so I'm learning how to do this meditation. Well, I've been meditating for about 15, 20 years. And now it's time for me to share that. I'm going to start sharing it with the youth so that they can learn how to go inside to receive some of those gifts and blessings that the divine world has for them. But you came over here to Exodus, and you've seen some of the things and some of the youth and how things transpire here at Exodus. You see the children writing on the wall where they sit back and they want to do peace, and they're from every state in the United States and from Canada. This artwork that they place here. And our children want peace and love, and they want to have something to develop. Is there something that you could bring over here to Exodus to help us enhance that talent with those youth?
Well, I think that it's a situation where we all have to bring something. Us growing up, we had the Y, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Awana, Camp Awana. I could tell you on Monday nights when I was a kid, I was at Boys Club and Bible study.
Yeah, social center.
We had social center after school till 6 o'clock. We had events. We had skating rinks. We had bowling alleys. We had all those things in the community. Basketball courts. You don't see a lot of basketball courts around these days. Now you see a lot of soccer fields. We don't have, during the summer, we used to go swimming at Farragut High School. They had open swimming. You don't have that anymore. So
what
here,
did you bring?
I think here, what needs to happen is programs that are structured for the kids now, where they are now. Not forcing them to, when I teach music appreciation in school, I teach the whole gamut. Okay? They learn about Bach, Mozart, Vivaldi, Beethoven. They also learn about Duke,
All right.
Basie,
There we
Sarah
go.
Vaughan. They also learn about Luther Vandross. They learn about Dorsey.
Okay.
They learn about all of it. And the reason why is because if you don't teach everything and let them know how important it is that they know everything, when it comes to them deciding on what they listen to, they're going to go with what they like. And if with children, if you take something away from them and you don't replace it with something positive,
Right.
they're going to go with something negative. Okay? So when we talk about the music that they listen to now, rap. Ain't nothing wrong with rap. Rap was going on back in the day. Okay, it was called something else. Poetry. Poetry.
Oh.
It was different. Family stories. Okay? That's what it was. History. That's how history was going on. That's how you carry it. But the thing is that they have taken the negative part of it because we haven't influenced them enough with the positive. Okay?
So I think, there was a movie out that came about something about cloning Tyrone, where they did a few things to some of us and caused us to change our whole perspective in life, and it's really going on today. I even heard on the news with something about Meta, how Meta is even affecting the youth right now, how they're changing their thoughts. They're actually addicted to it as if it's like a drug.
Yeah.
You
You have to think about it. AI is raising our children right now. There's nothing we can say about it because that's been set up for the last 15 years. These kids have been raised by AI. Now they're knowledgeable. Now they're doing it now because children are so locked into the computers and television. You take it away from them, they'll find another means. They'll find ways to learn from that. So the personal reality, the personal relationships in schools, they don't have those things we have. In home, they don't have those things.
Right.
I remember when computers first came out, we played Pong.
Oh, Lord.
And that's all it was.
I can keep up then.
But that's my point. That's all it was, because they didn't know what to put in it. I mean, they didn't know how to at the time. Now, technology has taken over raising our children. We don't have the outlets that we had. These kids don't have it.
But you know, they're so advanced. As a matter of fact, I didn't get a regular phone until about 3 years ago. I was still using a landline, and I didn't know phones did all that. You know, they had a typewriter on this phone that I got, and there were things that they were telling me anybody could just pick up your phone and use it and do what they want with it. I had to go to my 7-year-old I think it's great nephew, he's 7, to get him to program this telephone that I got, and he was playing a game. I said, listen, man, would you hook this up for, your uncle, man? Go on and take care of that. Put this in, put one of them locks on it, and put this on it, and put that on it, and everything. And he's steady playing the game. I didn't know he was paying attention to me. He put down his machine, like, give me the phone, hooked it up, and gave it back. And then I had to ask him, man, how do I get in it now? You know, what you do? And I'm steady learning, but whenever I need something new and all this technology stuff, he's 7. Well, I'll take that back, he turned 8. But he knew how to do it, how to program it, how to put it, how to execute it, how to lock it. And he did something, I couldn't even work it, but now I'm learning how to use it and do all of that, and I don't want everybody in the family to know I had to go to you to learn how to do this phone. So, thanks, man.
I charge you to get the PIN number.
Well, see, that's the thing. The meta world has taken over slowly. Now they even said it that people were going to be, because of COVID, people are going to stay in the meta world. There's a meta world that's happening now. The people are staying on those goggles all day and don't do anything. Because of COVID, people are staying at home now. They're not going to work. And now that the AI is
working from home.
They're working from home now. So now you've got the kids already locked in that world. And they're so comfortable in that world. Now what we need to do, and there's nothing, let's say this, there's nothing wrong with AI. It's what you do with the tool. We can still use it for good, but we have to catch up.
So do we use that in this music that we happen to have out?
It's being done. Matter of fact, let me tell you, I was in a friend of mine's RV. He came up and he said, Stan, let me show you something about AI. I'm scared. I said, okay. He said, he went to AI, he said, write a rap, okay, about using Trump, okay, and who did he say? What's Beyonce's husband name? Right, Jay-Z. In a Jay-Z format about Trump. Less than 15 seconds, 3 verses, chorus, change, and hook. Wow. I'm stumped. And he's like, okay, give me a beat. Now he's a musician. He didn't have to, and I'm a musician. He didn't have to play anything. Told AI, give me a beat like Jay-Z. Less than 10 seconds, AI, blah. He could have made that go viral. Okay? Wow. It's that quick. These kids are that quick right now. TikTok, they're looking at people, you know what? Let's look at it this way, not in a negative way, okay? They're looking at technology as the drugs of how people sell drugs on the street. You know what I'm saying? It's quick money. It's fast. So what are you doing for me that's going to make me think differently on achieving my goals? If you're not giving me something that's going to draw me in. Okay, if you don't draw me in, I'll go and sell and make that money, right? On corner on Friday night. I can make $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Why should I go work a full-time job? Because you're not challenging me.
Right.
AI has given the kids, and again, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It can be used for good, just as it can be used for bad.
So these young guys now, they're sitting back and they told me, they said, I got a rap. I do a good, mean rap. But I'll tell you, it's not clean at all. You know, I'm going to say some things because that's what said. That's what they told me. But we had a group of youth in here on mic night. And these youth, they sat back and they did some raps and different things, and they enjoyed, they sang. And one girl almost brought me to tears about a poem that she did about all of the killings from the different schools, Sunnybrook and all of these shootings in Michigan State, all of the school shootings in different places, and how frightening it is for the youth to go around, all of the killings, the senseless killings in our playgrounds, kids riding bikes and getting shot and different things. And this girl had it all did in a poem. And she was actually working the camera here for George. And she said, I want to do a poem. And when she brought that poem out, I mean, it touched my heart. You know, to sit back and to have these kids. I was so proud of these young black youth that came out here Friday, because they did some clean raps, first of all, and the poems and the singing that they did, and the schools that they plan on going to, and some of the things that they delivered. And one youth, because I was standing outside with them to make sure that they were all right, because they're still teenagers and they're running around playing and doing different things. And one youth looked at me and he said, I enjoyed being here today. He said, matter of fact, I wasn't even supposed to be in the world. And I looked at him and he said, yeah, man. He said, it's rare that I'm even here. He understood that he was blessed. So many have been aborted that abortion thing, when they come back, I think they can feel it and they understand it. We happen to have a group of children that happen to be indigos, crystals, and rainbows. And they're here on this earth at this time to help save and preserve us and this world and society. And if we don't reach out and give them something positive, like you said, to hold their minds and their hearts into that field, they're going to be in big trouble, because they're being targeted with the different candies that they're putting the drugs in, and the makeup that they're causing them to wait with all these beauty products that they may be slipping something in, and all of these chemicals that's around, with all of these 5G networks that's going up in the air. They're targeting with different signals and vibrations that are not spiritual and holy enough to raise their frequency up in their body. So it's our job over here at Exodus to sit back here and to bring those frequencies to the divine level, where they can sit back and reach their potentials to be what they want to be and who they're supposed to be. Like you said, there's some difference in Beethoven and Bach's music that they need to hear that's not the same vibration and frequency that might be in certain raps and different things. So we need to raise our conscience high so that we can understand what God wants us to have, go inside to learn those things. And
that's the spirit.
if I may,
That's right. There.
When I used to go out and speak to mentor kids, I used to tell a couple of stories. And I came up with this story about this son who went to his father. He wanted to buy this album. Now back then it was albums. And he said, Dad, I want to talk to you. He said, okay. He said, well, Dad, this album that's out right now is really good, but I want to bring it to you first. There's only one song on there that's not good.
Uh-oh.
There's only one song.
Only one song.
Only one song.
Okay.
But the whole album is good. So Dad, can I buy this album?
Yeah.
You know? And he said, well, I tell you what, son, let's go in the kitchen and make some cookies.
There we go. Here we go.
He said, well, Dad, what about this? He said, let's go make some cookies. Then after we make some cookies, we'll talk, you know, we're
Gonna put the ingredients together.
See, you already grabbed it. So he said, I tell you what, what's your favorite cookie? We're gonna put everything you want in this cookie. Oh, Dad, give me the okay. Oatmeal, and he wants some chips in there. Okay, good, that's good, that's good. He said, okay, that's everything? Yeah, that's everything, okay, good. I'm gonna get you later. Let me go get one more ingredient. He went outside, and he got some mess.
Some mess.
Dog manure. Just a little.
That's the chocolate chip?
No.
Oh.
He just grabbed the mess. He said, okay. He said, Dad, what you gonna do with that? He said, I'll just sprinkle a little bit in there.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. No, Dad, no, don't do that. He said, why not? It ain't gonna hurt you. It's just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So after I said that, I get quiet. And all the kids are sitting there like, that's. I said, the moral of the story is, all it takes is a little bit. Because what's going to happen is this. You're going to have a bad day one day. Somebody may get you upset. You're going to go home and you want somebody to agree with your anger. And that album is going to be sitting right there with that one song that you said you were going to go listen to. And that one song is going to start saying, I listen to you. I support you. Play me. And it's going to start to creep up and you're going to play it. Just I'll listen one time. Next thing you know, 20 times. Because the kids play stuff and they play it in cycles. And over and over. Here's the scary part. Prince had an album out. Purple Rain. Remember that album?
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about albums, so you know my age. On the actual album, at the very end of the album, he recorded a song backwards. Nobody knows about it. You know about it. The only way you can play that song is to literally run your finger and reverse the record. And play it. Am I right?
What was the song?
Okay, here's the thing. It was a religious song. He said, hello, how are you? He was singing in about 5 or 6 part harmonies. You know how Prince was. But it's genius. 5 part harmony. Hello, how are you? I'm fine because I know the Lord is coming soon. Okay, now, here's the thing about that. In order to play that, you have to play it backwards. Meaning, what's the opposite of everything that was put in play?
So if you got a CD, you couldn't play that backwards.
No,
You had to.
it was only on the album. It was vinyl. It was only on the album. So, what's the opposite of God?
You know.
Satan.
Beast.
The devil.
Exactly. So, he played that, and he didn't want you to know that it was. Y'all get it. So, that's the kind of stuff that kids look, and not just kids, everybody now. When we talk about the problems now, you got to look at media has made it. Trump said it. I'm not a Trump fan, don't get me wrong. I mentioned his name twice, but let me say it this way. Trump said it. The media is a lot of fault to a lot of corruption.
Oh yeah.
When we were kids, we didn't know about third world countries and people walking over people's bodies and they selling children to slavery. And we didn't see it. We heard about it, but unless you went over there, you didn't know.
Well, I was in the projects, man.
But
I
what I'm saying
kind
is
of stepped over bodies and I had
but that, no.
I saw it.
The difference, I was in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
I saw, literally, kids during the daytime sleeping on the street. People walking over them.
Selling chickens.
No, this is real.
They had chickens.
They were sleeping during the daytime because they were homeless. They had to stay up through the night.
because they would get murdered, raped, slaved. This is 10, 15 years ago. It's still like that. They don't show it, but you can walk over people's bodies and don't know if they're dead or alive. When I was
Look, we got, I sat back, now this is honest to God truth. I sat back and a guy right here on Chicago Avenue, right before Pulaski, I think it may have been Hamlin or Hardin. Okay, anyway, the gentleman was crossing the street, and I think it was the fentanyl mixed with something, but
yeah.
he nodded right there, and I think he died standing up right in the middle of the street trying to cross the street. He just died, right, just standing up there. That's the fentanyl and the zombies that they're making with this fentanyl and this tranquilizer, Trent, or something they call it, something like that, where it's eating up their bodies and different things. So we have to be very cautious. It's an immediate addiction that you get with this stuff. And so we have to make this aware in our neighborhoods and our community, especially to our youth and our children, because they are hooking them up. And we're gonna have to wrap it up because I got another guest coming up and he's gonna speak about it, but if you'd like to elaborate on something further?
I was just going to say, again, media, we have to really, if we want to change things for our kids, we have to, one, accept that this is part of their lives. We have to get inactive with it and understand how we can bring, like we talk about the things on Friday, what's the next step?
Right.
Because kids can rap all day long. Give them something to the next phase. Challenge them. You know, you don't have to be an adult to have an LLC.
Okay.
You know, they're having their own subscribe on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. They can make money and have their own businesses at the age of 16. There are millionaires out there at the age of 12.
Man, I'm gonna shoot dice with a few of them.
But again, if we don't look at the opportunities and look at how we can help create those atmospheres, safe havens.
Oh, okay.
We had safe havens.
Yeah.
We had them. We need to recreate that. And then give them the knowledge. And then support them.
Thank you so much for coming out. Just had a nice round of applause. Thank you. We'll be right back. Hi, we're still here at Exodus Institute, and we're getting ready to start the second portion of our show today. And it's so great to be here on this Wednesday. We're back. We've got some real powerful stuff. There was a Mind, Body, and Spirit program, or should I say a health program, that I happened to be at in Tinley Park. And a gentleman walked up and he was asking me, he said, listen, they got all of these world immigrants coming in and all of these different things and people coming from everywhere and they got wars everywhere, and so what's really going on? And I looked at the gentleman and I said, there was a time that I heard, if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boy. You don't have to have no fear about none of these things, you know. And I understood that there was a time that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that they had what was called the mothership. And this is what they were singing about this. And you know, and I was telling them, I said, man, them flying saucers and some other things that's going on out here that they sitting back discussing and telling right now. They realize that there are some beatings or something that's going on in this world. And the gentleman that I was talking to, we just happened to pull away from the little crowd that we were around to sit back and do that. And when we moved away from the crowd and started discussing it, and I told him my portion, he looks at me and he says, I got a gentleman that know a little bit about that, and he put us on the telephone together. this is how it became in threes. And so the three of us were on this phone discussing everything, and this gentleman came back today to sit back and expose some of the things that we may not know about. And George, I might need you to kind of look into can you zoom in for a moment into this camera, because it's something that's very important about the people that we need to have elaborated. This gentleman, his name is Jeff. He's going to introduce himself, tell what it is that he has sat back and brought to us, because we're talking about our youth and our neighborhoods and our community and this world. And he has some very good things. He's got 100 amazing facts about the Negro. And this other book over here, I see faces everywhere.
It's called Sex and Race.
Sex and Race. And these are some important things that we have to know about. And he's going to tell all that he can in this next half an hour, that what he does and how he's connected. And I want him to elaborate on a book that he wrote.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, I get carried.
My name is Jeffrey. I had discovered something in 2017 on this documentary called The Dark Side of the Sun. What I had discovered that was where we come from, our origin. I don't know if we're familiar with melanin.
Oh, yeah.
So we have this particle, this God particle, and it's called melanin, and it's connected directly to the sun.
Thank you.
Because it was given to us by the sun people, and we are the sun, the children of the sun.
All right now.
Now, in these documentary, I seen pictures, I seen men, women, children, baby. It's all there. So all the stuff that we might like down here or we agree with,
Okay.
is not agreeable. Because they all about men, women, and children.
Okay.
I didn't see anything else.
So these things that you said came about in 2017 that
Yes.
you weren't dreaming, were you?
No.
Well,
I was watching the documentary. I'll tell you how it went. I was sitting down watching the documentary, and when they started showing about the solar flares, it was this big gold light came on screen. Didn't look right, but it just see I need to take a double take on it.
okay.
So rewind. And my inner was telling me, you need to start taking pictures. So that's what I did. So I took the pictures, and then I started seeing what I needed to see.
And what
It was meant for me to see these celestial beings,
okay.
my creator.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I immediately identified. And I was messed up for like 2 weeks.
You wasn't on ayahuasca or nothing.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I was like really emotional for like 2 weeks. Couldn't get it together. And then after I got past that part of it, I started understanding what I was looking at
And why?
and why.
Okay.
So if the Creator created man in His
In
image,
his image.
yes. Well, let's first start with the solar system. The sun created the solar system, right? And make it even easier for you to understand if you say, "Oh, it's people just doing all this."
Right.
But okay, let's go with the normal narrative. Let's say the sun created the solar system, and the last planet created was Earth, right?
Okay.
And created man, and put that man on that Earth. Is that man birthright?
Yeah.
So why everybody asking for reparation when you should be asking for rent?
Oh. So would that make us all the same?
No,
If we're all different?
we're different. See, When the Creator created man and put us there, he put yellow substance, which we call melanin.
Mm-hmm.
It was only put in the man. They say they blew air into the man to animate.
Okay.
Well, the soul is a living consciousness. I put my hand right here, and you can see the shadow, right? It only has shape because I have shape.
So you're saying that there's really no form there?
It's no fun, it's void. I mean, you're part of the earth, and you're part of everything. So you was once upon a time a celestial and physical being. You just got
We done
tricked
lost the
into
celestial
the bond,
part.
into the physical. And I can tell you like you got trapped, but we ain't gonna go there. That's a little bit too long.
All right, we'll do that on the next show.
Yeah, that's a bit too long. But what happened is we were given the melanin, the yellow substance, and that created man, which off the man's rib was one. Now, if you talking about are we all the same? No, we're not. White people, or Caucasian, whatever you want to call them, come from the fall.
The fallen
Angels.
angels. Okay.
Okay, and everybody heard about evolution, about monkeys turning into man, from monkey to Neanderthal to Cro-Magnon to Caucasian, right? Okay, is any monkeys turning into men right now?
Nope.
Oh, okay. The last time you checked, monkeys were eating berries, trees, and fruit, right? They still eating that, right?
Yep.
So they was white.
Some men, we need to eat some of them fruits and vegetables too, you know, because that'll be healthy for us.
But what I'm saying is, animals do not change eating habits and then go back to them.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
You can't tell me that a monkey that's been eating trees, berries, and fruit turned around and all of a sudden started evolving, eating meat, and then all of a sudden they went back to monkeys.
Exactly.
That's the story they told.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to listen to them because they say the most dumbest things in the world, but we say, oh yeah, that's right.
Correct.
So if it wasn't a monkey, then what was it? I'll tell you what it was.
Okay.
Have you anybody heard of Pan? P-A-N.
Peter?
Pan. Yes.
Yeah, Pan like
The hairy
like
goat man?
in Peter Pan.
All of us the same, trust me. Peter Pan, Pied Piper.
Michael Jackson talk about him all the time.
You know why they got this pansexual stuff on it, that everything goes? Because it come from Pan, the hairy goat man. You always see them Krampus. They call them Krampus. He said that these had 101 names. There it is right there.
Well, I'll be Bud Milliken.
Creason.
So Pan, the hairy goat man, that's what they was cursed into. See these. Let me.
So
I'm gonna have to
is
explain.
that why the hair is thin and?
Okay, so if you take fur off an animal, he's gonna be black, pink, because the sun is beating right onto his skin. The fur is not protecting his skin, so that's where you get the pinkish from.
So is that why they take
Well,
melatonin?
the only thing to catch lights is animals.
So you sure you wasn't on ayahuasca when you saw
Aliens can get this information. They down here.
It's amazing.
Aliens down here.
They giving.
Tell us how it all started.
Wait a minute. You're not saying he's an alien.
Yeah. Tell
He's
us
an
how it
alien?
started. Yeah. How long you?
Did they give you? Were they those aliens that gave you this information?
You're not.
It's not even aliens. See, that's where we sit up here using words of theirs that we shouldn't be using.
Okay. You got it from the brothers and the
So
sisters.
our creators, our brothers and sisters, our family on the sun, these are your parents. We are their children. We call ourselves Black, African American, Eastern, all this stuff, but the children of the sun. The sun can speak. What's with that? you'll rather be black, African American, all these other names, but who you are.
Son, children.
That's because we don't know who we are. Right.
That's where I need to get to. See, in order for people to love themselves, they have to know who they are.
Mhm.
And it goes for children as well. They have nothing to identify with. Our children, they've been told, you can't send your children to your enemy's school and think they're going to be taught. You can't go and work for the enemy and then expect to be paid when they wasn't paying for the first day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, somebody told us-
I worked 30 years and
Do you
I'm
understand what this whole integration was about and civil rights movement was about? Because it's all BS. I'm just going to tell you. It was a place called Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it had Black Wall Street,
Oh,
where
yeah.
black people was
They
striving.
dropped the bomb.
Okay? They had their own bus system, they had their own airline, they had their own law firms, they had a stock market.
Right.
It happened in St. Louis, it happened in Florida. White people get scared.
Mhm.
Because if that would have went to, say, LA, New York, Chicago, would we need them? No.
Okay.
Will we have control of our own financial destiny? Yes. Will
So
we have
how-
the acts and pornography? No.
How can we get in touch with those people of the sun?
You are them.
You said you get right back. You want to get back.
No,
You said you
man,
want to get
I
back to
need
the
to-
sun.
Yeah, I want to.
Well, have you ever heard of sun gazing?
I haven't heard of it.
Sun gazing, this is melanin, your people. And it's activating your pineal gland
Okay.
by looking at the sun.
Wow.
So they always talk about the kundalini and your chakras.
Oh,
My
yeah.
folks always try to tell you about some stuff they don't know nothing about and can't even activate it if they try. First of all, to activate
You
all
have
of
to
that,
have it.
you got to have melanin in your body. Basically, sure. Basically,
You need to
what the
stand up.
deal up, basically, you have a coil snake at the bottom of your spinal cord.
That's the Kundalini.
That's the kundalini.
And
It's
it
the serpent
rises.
power. And it rises like a snake through your spinal cord all the way up to your crown, to your heart, to your head, to the top. And that's when you...
Earth, Wind, and Fire sung a song called the Serpentine Fire. Is that what they
Yes. Them brothers was really heavy on
And
today.
they-
They teach you.
Oh, yeah.
So the snake goes up to the crown chakra.
Mhm.
Right. So this is called the serpent power, Kundalini serpent power, which is also connected to us, the Nagas, which are the serpent people.
Okay.
This was their teaching. That's why they got the word nigger from, because they didn't say Naga.
And they better not say
Yeah.
that. Say that other word.
So
Oh,
that's
okay.
what that come from.
Okay.
And we are those Nagas. How do I know that?
You got it from the door?
Well, if you look on the 1865 Emancipation Proclamation, if you look that up, you'll look in the sky and you'll see a beast with wings, and he had two snakes in shackles. If you think I'm playing, look at the other poster in
They said-
1865 for,
There was a question, they said the two, what?
I didn't hear that. Two snakes and what?
it was two snakes in shackles.
What's called
Shack.
1865 what?
1865 Emancipation Proclamation poster.
They
They
didn't
have two of them.
they didn't have no whip on his back, did he?
No. No.
Shackles in the whip.
No. Actually, just having shackles, chains and shackles.
Okay.
The other poster had Abraham Lincoln in the middle, had white people on this side, black people on that side. He said he's gonna free everybody. But if you pay attention to his feet,
Shackles.
he got his feet on top of the snake head. He got snakes dead around him, and he's stepping on top of the snake head. Well, see, that's how the secret orders speak to each other. They didn't get mad at the Arthur Dan Brown for the, what's that?
Da Vinci Code?
Huh? Da Vinci Codes, yes. He didn't get mad at him because he wrote the book and he was talking about Jesus and all that. They knew that was a lie. They got mad at him because they were showing him the techniques, how they speak to each other. While y'all look at the front of this, y'all look at the front of this, they're not looking at the front. They're looking at what's inside the picture. That's directed toward them, and they're communicating with each other. While you just looking at the surface.
Right.
So that's what that is.
And if it's in the book, they figure we ain't gonna read it.
Put it in the book, and they'll never find it.
But the internet will bust them out.
You know, but see, that's why the information's come too fast. See, that's why they try to change the algorithm on the computers so they can put the information in the way they want.
Okay. Now, there's also some things that's going on. I say there's a group of people called the elite. And this group of people, they really doing some, I don't want to get cut off the air for saying this, but they're really doing some demonic stuff here on the face of this earth.
They're beasts. That's who they are. That's who they are. Okay.
It's on the air already, so you can Google it.
So this
It's
is
on the air.
Google the
What's on the air?
Build the Birds and all
yeah.
that.
So this
I ain't calling no names. I just
So-
said the elite.
So I'm about to go ahead and explain what you're talking about.
Come on.
So you have the sun people, and then you have the stardust people.
Okay.
We
Okay.
ain't on the air right now, so
Okay.
you can talk.
So the stardust people was the people that got kicked out of that cosmos because like they were not doing things in a natural way. Actually, they was homosexual. They got kicked out of heaven. They got kicked out of heaven. I'm just gonna say what it is. We all grown in here.
Okay.
They was homosexual. They got kicked out of heaven because they got mad at men because men had melanin in the soul. So they went down on earth and raped men and women. And then they got cursed and turned into the hairy beast man. So that's where your Caucasian comes from. And what he needed was your blood and flesh to change. Because you got melanin in your blood, that's what changed him from beast to Neanderthal to Cro-Magnon to Caucasian, which you see present time today. Your blood and your melanin. What do they say in church? I'm not trying to, I'm not gonna try to freak you out, nothing like that, but I'm just gonna prove my point. I'm gonna prove my point.
We'll take
In
the,
church, they said it's the blood and body of Christ. If you don't know who Christ is, then you don't know who blood and body they talking about. But they talking about yours.
So on
Then
Christ.
So when the eagles talk,
So on Christ.
you have the light of the Creator in you. We all do.
My children.
So what the deal is what white people do is degrade you, humiliate you, break you down, make you think less of yourself. They've been doing this for generation after generation after generation. And we don't have to believe that. But the only problem is we don't have the correct information to go in the right direction.
We're still here at Exodus Institute, 816 North Laramie, and we've been having some wonderful discussions here today. And now I got a gentleman over here with one of these nice jackets on. He even sat back and designed all this artwork. He's over here, he done rolled in his wheelchair and everything.
from God's will.
And so he's going to introduce himself and tell exactly what it is that he do and what he's been blessed with to do over here at Exodus.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Dwayne Lindsay. I'm thankful again to be blessed to be asked to come back for the second time. So I'm thankful for that. I'm always here promoting the Step-by-Step Foundation. That's my nonprofit. We dedicated to, special needs kids and adults, along with providing them with a safe place for recreation and entertainment. So that's the main thing. And with the help of Exodus, we'll be giving away food and clothing at the end of every month. Just stay posted to the websites. And once again, Exodus has blessed us with just giving us a home until we have our own home. So we're doing that, and then on Thursdays from 6 to 8, if you guys need any food, all you need is an ID. You can come out to Heritage on North Avenue in Laramie and get some free food. So
So Heritage, is that a store or
That's actually the church.
the church?
Yes, sir. Right on,
Is
it's actually, I believe, 5350, but right off of the second block west on North Avenue and Larry. Yeah, but
Okay.
you'll definitely see the line if you just come over there. You'll see people, but from 6 to 8 on Thursdays, they give away
At
free
6
food.
p.m.?
Yes, sir. So you can always catch us over there. And like I said, I'm here short today, just coming really on behalf of course, the nonprofit and this clothing line, which is my brother's clothing line, Poisonous Fashion. He has hoodies, t-shirts, these windbreaker jackets, a little thicker bomber jackets, leather. So he has all type of stuff for females, the little tights, the T-tops, and crop tops, or whatever they call them. So, and then as well, my little brother, which helped design some of his stuff. He does all type of artwork. If you need any logos, need family reunion, t-shirts or anything, or just a custom photo or something. So I'll leave the links and everything so you guys can network with us, but just hit a network and be thankful to be a part of this with excellence.
Tell us about that organization, just a little bit more about what you do.
Well, step by step, of course, like I said, I was paralyzed doing a little work. I still do construction work. That's another one of my businesses, doing laminate floors, tile, and everything out of my wheelchair. But I got injured, and after getting injured a few years of finding myself back, I got back to doing music, construction, and I definitely wanted to just focus on something that can help people in my position. So being in a wheelchair, I understood the difficulties. Like earlier, you guys were talking about there's nothing really out for kids with no disabilities, let alone for people with disabilities. So I just wanted to try to provide a safe place.
There you go.
And actually come to find out the place that helped me get back on my feet while I went through my rehab in Atlanta, the Shepherd Center is actually supposed to be the greatest place in the United States, and I believe it is.
All right.
They're actually a nonprofit. So all along, while I was thinking of coming up with something that can help people with disabilities, maybe get therapy, find jobs, or just all type of things, they do the same thing. So it's kind of like the place that put me back on the right path. I'm doing the same thing in Chicago.
Still doing construction work and music?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we do laminate floors, tile, drywall, pretty much everything. And hey, I don't have to do the work. I can get you a crew to do whatever you need. But yeah, as of right now, I still do laminate and tile.
So
I
you do
love
shows
doing it.
and music?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have several groups. We have some gospel music that we can do this and look cater to the music that need to be out now. Not just always the gangster stuff and the negative stuff, but we do have a few positive songs and as well as the street stuff. So yes, and I'm helping groom the next artist that's coming up, the next generation that's bringing along, even though that music might be drill now, which that's what we call gangster 20 years ago. So we can't really knock them for what they have, let them do what they're doing, but just give them an outlet to at least have a little positive in it. So.
Well, we're so glad that you came out today and gave out this information to help those that happen to have a little handicap or whatever the case may be, that they'll come here, join us over here at Exodus Institute.
Yeah.
What days do you think that you'll be over here?
We're looking at the 28th. We're looking at the 28th, but as last month, everything's rolling and we're getting everything in order, but with the blessings of Exodus, if we don't do it this month, we'll be doing it next month. Just stay posted to Exodus. They have a lot going on here.
That sounds like a good thing, and we want to thank you and may God bless you for your job that you're doing and what you're bringing to Exodus Institute. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Still here at Exodus Institute, they took the clock off the wall, and because we got 4 great shows that we're bringing to you today. And we're going to sit down here right now with a gentleman that came out. He just happened to have on a few emblems and different things that look like mine. So I know he can ready to bring some good stuff to us. He's a young man. I can tell by these braids he's got. And everybody else, you know, we kind of, I have mine been going, but he got some real stuff going on over here. So he's getting ready to come in his own way. He's going to introduce himself and tell what it is and where he got this hair braided at and where we can get some.
Hey, y'all feeling tonight? Today, I should say. Appreciate you for having me. My name is DeAndre Rudis. I am almost doctor, actually. I should put that out. So I'm PhD, ABD at the moment. I'm from the Austin community. So I'm from the Austin community, born and raised. No, I take the raised part back. I was raised on 119th and Stewart.
That's all right.
But then I came to the west side. I grew up out here, so I graduated from Howell, Douglas, and Austin. So Austin baby through and through. Currently an elected official for Austin as well. I am what you call a police district council member, so I was elected to the 15th district.
All right.
My role is to service our community in such that if there's any public safety problems and or policing accountability issues, meaning violence, mistreatment, harm, abuse of any kind towards our community from the Chicago police, you have elected representation, myself and my two other partners that you can go to in order to be the voice. The public safety piece comes in that if there are any of those concerns, you come and voice them at our meetings, they become public record so that we can keep track of what's going on in our community to elevate it to now what's called the community commission so that they can make decisions and policy that can help improve our lives in our community. So just doing quite a few things these days and really just want to make sure that as a black man I give back in any type of way, because if we continue to leave when we become educated and empowered, then other people are going to be able to get this sauce and our community ain't going to be able to get it at all. So.
Well, you've been giving some great events over at Bill Street, is it Bill?
Bill?
Yeah, you've been giving a few events over there, and the camera crew went out and they kind of videoed one of the events, and they came back with something about what the youth concern was in the neighborhood and community.
Yeah.
Talking about how the adults sit back and when they have a problem or something, they might go to a bar and sit up with a bartender, or we used to go to the barber shops and everything.
Right.
Now, you know, with that corona thing, I kind of cut around.
Understood.
That's why I have to wear hats now.
Understood.
So, but the youth said that at one of the events that you gave, they said that they have nowhere to really go. You know, they need these after-school programs and different assistance in the community. And you on the commission, you reached out to those youth to do that. How did you come about setting up something like that for them?
So I have to put, so one, I work for New York University. I work for New York University School of Law. In 2018, New York came and established a program that's a pilot that at some point may be fully implemented through the city of Chicago. At least that's what we're hoping for. So it is called the Chicago Neighborhood Policing Initiative. What we have done since 2018 is try to build a relationship between police and community. Understandably, that there are issues that mitigate that development of that relationship, and we will be forever remiss if we didn't acknowledge that. You know, and so we have tried to build relationships. One of the ways that not only from New York University's perspective, but also from now a council member's perspective, that I have to utilize is restorative justice practices. So if you all aren't familiar with that, that is a way of having people to discuss harm and then ways of mitigating said harm and trying to come up with ideas in which we both can feel whole after that harm has been done. So I have to utilize that practice in my elected role. So to the point of the build and what we were doing with some of the youth, I have gone throughout the Austin community, again of the 15th district where I'm elected. I will also say this, I service the 11th district and 25th district with New York University. So that is my full-time job. So I do utilize this practice with those districts as well, but for the 15th district, I make sure that I give special attention because I am elected here. So what we do is we build peace circles. So if you all are familiar with the restorative justice practice of peace circling, that is basically where individuals gather in a circle. You use some sort of talking piece or some sort of device that can guide conversation, in which when one person has the mic, we allow that person to speak, and that usually that speech is open and honest and transparent, such that people can get whatever they feel on their chest off, and then we can have open and honest dialogue. So with that particular event that you all came and filmed, we had some of the youth, because BUILD is a youth-oriented organization. So we wanted to make sure that we brought them into the conversation, because more often than not, we have adults, but we don't have the youth present so that they can talk about their feelings as it relates to policing.
You know, there was also, I was introduced to you by a young lady. Well, she may not be a young lady, but she called me because the flyers were passed out in the 5300 on Van Buren and the 5200. But the 53 and 5400 is a connected block. And she happened to have there's some handicapped people there. There's a lot of different things there. And the seniors are kind of afraid to come out and do different things. And they kind of rely basically upon their churches. But coming to community organizations and getting out in the community and different things, they're actually frightened. They're frightened of stepping out because the youth are kind of wild and disruptive and different things. And they used to go to those beat meetings that they used to have from the community. What is the difference in you being a commissioner where we could sit back and, I like you reaching out to the community, that's very important. But the beat officers, I don't think they come out to those meetings like they used to because of the coronavirus and different things. And our seniors really need something now where they can communicate and reach out. And I'm not trying to say that they're that frightened to come out, but we have to come together because the youth and the seniors need to be out together on those events. Do you all work on something similar to that?
So to that end, what we've tried to do with the direct block action, so to speak, these peace circles. So we did one on the 8 and 900 block of Lockwood. We did one on the 50, or we started to do 52, 53, 100 block of Van Buren until we realized, like you said, that 54 and 55 was also connected. So we tried to flyer those as well. And what we've been trying to do with these have been, we've tried to utilize the community gardens that are in the community to host these events. The reason why we shifted to build for the 52, 53, 5400 block was because it started to rain and now at 7 o'clock it's pitch black. Before that, you could sit outside from 5 to 8 o'clock and you still have a little bit of daylight, you know, and part of the reason why you want to do that is because people don't get off work to 6 o'clock, you know, so you want to meet them where they at as well. And so that is more something that we're going to try to do in the summer before the fall kicks in, before we shift. But and to that point, you have officers that come out, and so the neighbors do feel safer. So we've had more of our senior members come out when they felt safer because of the officers. The thing about the youth being present is that some of those blocks just don't have youth. We have very old blocks. We got to be honest, we're not having kids like we did anymore. And the kids that do exist, generally, they're people of color, but sometimes it's difficult to connect with them, you know? And so we got to be honest about our blocks and knowing that there are more senior figures and trying to figure out a way to not only get them to come out, but to connect with them. So when we did what we did at Build, right? For example, you said the beat meetings,
Right.
What we did at Build was from Van Buren to Harrison is a block over and a block down the street. And the seniors didn't want to come out. And if we talking about a beat meeting, you're talking about having beat meetings at the station on Madison. The seniors are not going to come out. So, you know, we do have to figure out a different apparatus and means to connect with them. We have Zoom, but some of them don't know how to work Zoom.
Oh, I have a solution to that. First of all, they used to have the churches in the neighborhoods. They would have beat meetings.
They still do?
Especially at the Hope Church. They get a nice turnout over at the Hope Church over there. And they used to be at Loretta Hospital with those meetings and different things. But we used to have over here before Governor Rauner closed us down for life. We've been closed for like 7, 8, going on our 8th year now. And we used to have, the steering committee would be here. And all of the block clubs over in this area used to meet here on Saturdays.
Okay.
And the block club members would all come out and sit back and they could voice their opinions, and we could sit back and tell them how each block club can get $2,500 from the city just by sitting back, cleaning up and doing certain things, and I think they still do that and we lost that when this was I gotta go back to that Corona stuff. We lost that connection.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get that back. We've had events here where we brought in, we had 3 different religions here, and they all complained about some of the things that was happening with the youth in the schools and how they were doing certain things. So we do have events over here on Saturdays where those seniors will come out and the block clubs will come out and all those things. And so we're going to try to get those things back over here, and hopefully we can connect with you, especially since you were connected with the 11th district and the 25th and what your last 3 entities that you're bringing together and bringing some unity. And we're very proud to have you sit up on that commission. But one of the complaints I think we have with the city right now is there are some officers that belong to the Proud Boys or something, and we need to get rid of them because we got to take care of that. Can you elaborate a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so we definitely have officers that belong to far right wing groups. But I mean, we gonna take it a step back. The KKK ain't did nothing but take the hood off and put a badge on it and robes on. Like we know the deal.
Okay.
Right? So we're not gonna act like this is something that's new. One of the things about this newly established council position and the commission is that they can review policies and make decisions that can helpfully help our communities. So one of the things that they are reviewing is this idea that if you belong to a far right-wing organization that has shown to be racially prejudiced and stereotype people of color that you have to serve, that if found out, you are no longer eligible to be an officer in the city of Chicago. Now we need to extend that further and say you're no longer eligible to be an officer, period. Because a lot of times these officers do leave our community and then they just go over, whether it's Schaumburg or to Hightail, leave a whole park and become another member of law enforcement, which again doesn't help the cause because there's still black and brown people in those communities as well. So we have to make sure that if that is such a concern for all of us, that we're voicing that. Again, I am an elected official. Anything that in a meeting that comes up is public record, and we track it, and we track it all across this city. And if enough voices are saying that this is an issue across this city, then the commission that we help put in place will be the entity that can change policy so that if found out, these individuals can not only be removed from their positions as officers, but also we can take it a step further and they no longer can transfer them over to another district and become an officer.
Amen. We have a question over here.
I got one question for you. Man, I hope that you can, it's like a 2-part question. And one of them is, the police stations now have, they say, legal immigrants.
Right.
That's flooding them.
Right.
But my question is there any way that the police officers, along with the legal immigrants, can weed out the illegal immigrants that's coming along with them? Or is that why they really don't have the men to come to some of these meetings, even at churches or, you know, to different meetings to help show the seniors or show the neighborhoods that they, you know, give their input on what they're going to do to try to help in our communities, because their focus is on this new problem that done hit the city that's being flooded, that they can control. Can you elaborate on that? Is that one of the reasons why the officers just don't have the manpower to come out and support us, is because of that?
I'll say this. Before we had an immigration issue, we already were down 1,500 officers. During COVID, when some of the officers were forced to take the vaccination, they were against it, we started to have attrition then. Before that, when policy started changing to influence policing, we started having attrition then. And so we are roughly about 1,500 to 2,000 officers down than we actually needed. The interesting fact is, Los Angeles, as well as New York, which are bigger cities than Chicago, both actually have fewer officers. So I'll say this, it's a community issue. It's not only a policing issue. Our communities are much more different than they used to be. Back in the day, it was the black men that patrolled their neighborhoods to make sure that this stuff wasn't going on. If there was an issue, it wasn't, I'm gonna tell the police, I'm gonna tell my daddy. And we were able to handle things that way. So if we can get back to a community-based solution and a community-based oriented public safety strategy, then it would be very helpful. But we have a lot of people that in this day and age are very involved in everything else outside of their community. And that's not, I'm not saying that as an issue, but that's just what the facts of the matter is. I have 4 jobs and I have a daughter that is on the autistic spectrum. I can be in community as much as I can be until I can't be no longer. And then there's going to be a point where her needs are going to take precedent over everything in this community, and then I'm going to have to take a step back too. We're going to continue to lose brothers in that way because we have not developed enough collaborative processes in which people can be involved in the way they can be involved. We have a ton of organizations and resources that do not allow for collaborative processes. We have too much ego-driven people, too many ego-driven people that believe that they are the ones that can solve the issue and don't want to work with others in whatever way. For whatever reason, our skin color, albeit the most powerful that exists today, is also the weakest because we don't want to work together. That's where the weakness comes in at. When I talk about this idea of a revolution, right, I talk about revolution will only be when we decide that there's no longer an I and it becomes a we and a us. That is the power of us, and that is how we're going to elevate public safety and change this whole narrative. We cannot rely on the police, Joe Biden, and even God to a lesser extent to save us, because we are here in this physical flesh, and we need to figure out what we are going to do together. So there's that. The immigrant issue is an issue because of the federal government, the state government, the county government, and city government not having that plan of action as it relates to them coming in. We, the federal government, put sanctions on some of these countries, and that facilitated them coming over here for a better life. But if we got to be honest with ourselves as well, we got to look at our political landscape. Some of the people that are coming in are going to replace the votes for some of those that don't vote. I mean, we got to. Yeah, right. But that's what it is, though. That's exactly what's going to happen. And so if you got a population that just decides that they don't want to be a part of the process, you're going to bring somebody that is. And those people are going to be very grateful that they were brought here because their lives over there are next to nothing. $15 to them here, I mean, they could, I don't know, probably build castles where they're from. You know what I mean?
They're from Tijuana.
So we got to be honest with ourselves. Now, the weeding of the illegal people, and when we talk about the illegal people, I would go on the limb and say everybody is due respect of humanity. But for those that have been like formally incarcerated, have been charged with crimes, right, and are those that are coming here to commit crimes, we, at the first instance of that happening, they have to go back. Yeah. They have to go back, and there has to be a continual evaluation process. So when somebody comes across, they do get scanned, right? But we all know that things are going to happen and people are going to be able to escape. And so what they need to do, because there are people that are committing crimes and things like that, just like there are people that are actually very hungry that are just looking for an opportunity to go to work. And so we can't dismiss everybody because of the small few. If they did that, then our communities will also be suffering, because we know that there's a very small few in our communities that are doing all of these things that are keeping us up at night versus everybody in this room that are doing what they're supposed to do on a positive level. So we got to look at things the way that they are. But when those things happen, they need to get sent back immediately and let them fester in their own countries, you know, instead of looking for a better life over here. But that's not happening yet.
There's another evil that's being brought in too, because the news media talked about a group that's coming from overseas, sneaking in along with these guys that's coming over, and they're saying if it's a single guy, the way that they described it, they said if you see a single guy coming in and he looked like he may have a little military-like uniform on or something. You gotta stop him now because they may be coming from a country that's overseas. They're coming in from that south. And even over in that area off of California where they're trying to put these immigrants that's coming in, they don't want them in their neighborhood because they don't want to get confused, get things confused with their own children and everything. And so they're saying, please send them to the black neighborhood so that they can recognize who's who, because we don't want them mixed in over here with us. So we do have a major problem with those coming in and sneaking in to do hurt, dirt, and harm and all of those things. And so you have a big problem at those police stations with all of those people that trying to find something. And all of this started was because Harold Washington was the mayor that actually did it, made the city. It was just supposed to be a safe haven for people that, so ISIS, I think it's ISIS, wouldn't lock them up and send them back so that they could go to a church and stay in a church and ISIS couldn't hurt or harm them. So Chicago became the city for all of that. And now they've turned this into something else and major. You have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to, you answered my question, thank you, because I know also that, they in the police, living in their parking lots. I mean, I live.
Y'all can't park?
I mean, in the police parking lot, they have tents, they live with the rats, and they, in other words, they right under the police nose, and they in our neighborhoods, and it's like, we already got trouble. We already got problems in our neighborhoods. And it seems like the more people you bring in, that I would think that they're bringing more problems, more crimes. And the police, like you said, just don't have the manpower that it take a community. But the community don't want to get involved because they're saying that the political parties is allowing this and giving them monies building tents. They went out south to try to build tents, and they said with that it's going to be what they call it, supervised, monitored. They got a system for it. But the more people you bring in, the more problems you bring in that got to be dealt with. I don't care what color you are or where you're coming from, because like you said, we got old communities, old hoods, and these new people that they bringing in is just moving in to replace us. That's it. I look at it. And I thank you for coming out and sharing it with me, because that gave me a different perspective on what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On what is something being done, and you got a part of it.
Right.
And I appreciate that you shared with us. Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
But it's a free country to me. I don't see, I pity them being out there and either homeless, because I hate to see the winter and everything and it's freezing, but you should be able to go anywhere in the United States. If they migrants or whatever, because that's the way all of us got over here. Blacks, whites, everybody. Just Chicago just happened to be popular or popular place. If it was warmer, they'd be good to go. Only thing we were probably worried about is, and if they in front of the police station,
Right.
I mean, if I was gonna go anywhere, I'd rather be in front of the police station than just sitting anywhere else, because at least I'd call the police, or hopefully they'll try to stop something from coming by. I hate to see them running around, but sometimes I look at us as humanitarians. What do we feel that we should help do for others that's out there, whether it's our own that's homeless or it's somebody that's really in need with their kids?
Well, I have to say
If they was on drugs and all that,
that's what I wanted to mention. They're cutting into the vice lord's money up there on water. And
That's
the vice lords don't appreciate it, so there's gonna be a little trouble because they're cutting into their financial endeavors. You know, they were right across the street from the police department doing their sales. Now, They done brought their drugs over, so they're cutting into their money.
Or are they helping with the money
problem.
for the people that need to be like sedated or something that's out there that might, the vice lord's gonna come over there and get them something to keep them out there in the cold so they're immune to being froze to death. Because cutting into the vice lord's money, that's a good thing. Now we should applaud that and help them and give them a place to stay. Because they on the corner running away
Now
drugs.
they selling cheaper than the vice. Right.
Yeah.
They selling cheaper than the vice lord?
Yeah, I don't.
They would be, I think they would be.
No, they had a
Yeah,
complaint.
I'm not sure about
Complaining
that.
of
Oh, no, that's something to do.
Yeah, okay.
Man, you put some fiction in this place.
Yeah, well, just one of the things I was going to say is you're absolutely right. We are a nation of immigrants. I mean, the founders
I was trying to go over
were
there.
immigrants.
I was trying to go over there and get me a girlfriend. I didn't want to
And
just
they
stop
stole the
knocking
land
on teeth.
from the natives.
Indigenous people.
Yeah, and so
But they look like.
one of the things I wanted to mention is that if you take a plane trip, y'all ever took a plane trip and saw once you make it past the city, there's vast amounts of land that's available. That's a lot of untapped land around this country. I think only 47% is occupied. Don't quote me on the numbers, but there is a lot of available land. So there's a lot of room for folks to come here still. What I do recognize is that this is a...
That'll cut in our 40 acres and a mule though. We still trying to get
Oh,
Yeah, we are still trying to get that. Hey, I'm reparations
Yeah,
all
we
day.
know.
I'm reparations all day. So, to that end, yes sir.
About reparation.
back. Starting something.
He started, so he just took his hat off. Put the camera on him. Put the camera on him.
So why is everybody harping about this reparation? I don't understand that. I mean, if you find out who you are, then you shouldn't be asking for reparation. You should be asking for global rent because this is your birthright. But you gotta have proof. I just showed you.
We part of the system.
So
now.
here it is. This is what I don't get. What I don't get is that why do we need their help? We don't need their help. We need to learn how to work together.
To work together.
Now I know everybody into the
Well, never said that.
because the 70s came out and Superfly and all that.
I got the hat over here.
Right. So what happened is individualism. White people program our kids to say that we can do it on our own. We don't need nobody else. And we failed for it. And we failed for it. But the most important thing we need to do is find out who we are, our identity, our true identity. So we don't have to ask anybody for anything. Period. And you talk about reparations?
Yeah, talk about that.
Here it is. Why would you want pigeon crumbs when you can have keys to the castle?
All right now.
Well, since this is an open.
No identity.
But if you hold me, I want my money, you hold me.
Well, see,
If I let you-
hold on.
Go ahead, go back
So
to-
in some of that, when we ask for help, it would just be almost like the immigrants.
Right.
You asking for the help of the government or other people, and to get the help, that means you need a green card, you need an ID, a driver's license, a birth certificate. Because now, if we didn't need their help, we would be like, damn them, and just drive
Well, I have a commercial.
with no license, and we probably get arrested.
I have a commercial.
You got a commercial break?
Because
you go-
you just heard the alarm. And
That's-
most people, it's almost
That's
2
what's happening,
o'clock.
traveling rights. We don't want to do that. We want to get
But
Social Security and
I am so glad
benefits.
our guest came out today. The commissioner, he's doing a marvelous job over here in the 15th. Young man, and we want to give him a round of applause.
Is that the commissioner with police department?
Yes, councilman.
Councilman.
Yeah.
Okay, I called
The commissioner is a little higher at the citywide level.
So you work with the Department of
15th district.
I'm a psychologist.
Psychology. So you over here on Chicago Avenue?
Madison. I work with well, it used to be Chicago Avenue, but I work with the 15th district that's on Madison.
Okay. So do y'all plan on having more systems like you had at Bill and over here at Chicago Avenue? They have one with the police department
That's
talking
the
about bridging
Yeah, you know what? I will say this. So,
How can we
in
set up
closing-
more of those?
So I'll say this in closing if I can. Our next meeting for the Police District Council is November 7th. We're actually having it not too far down the street at 5300 West Chicago Avenue at the new cafe, black-owned cafe that just got established.
They were supposed to be here, where they at?
Yeah, Urban Essentials Cafe. So November 7th, so that's a Tuesday, November 7th at 6 p.m., 5300 West Chicago Avenue. It is an opportunity to not only continue to meet myself, but I have my other two district council women will also be there, and we'll be there to take whatever issues the community has. Some of the officers may be present. And so the last piece you spoke about was trying to get these seniors involved. That is the way that we can really get them involved. Like one of the things that I do is flyer the blocks like a couple days before these meetings are happening to let folks know that they're happening. And I also record them for YouTube. And so seniors to that point can look at those meetings, and if they have concerns, then they can just reach out to us. You know, because we got to figure out different ways of really getting them involved without having them to show up.
I suggest Wanda and we do a program with Isaac, with the youth. We get the thing over at Bill. And I feel that if we bring more of the youth, because they're doing television, radio, and internet, and podcasting services,
They do, yep.
and bring them out and encourage them to bring their parents or others, then that will bring the youth out because they're the ones we're concerned with.
Right.
And also some of the parents can get involved because they can bring it with them.
No, you're
And
absolutely right about that.
And you know that restaurant that he was talking about, that's a black-owned restaurant. They have very good wraps over there. They have these lovely teas and everything. So please join them over there. Try the dishes. They have a nice place out there. They got it's a very casual little place. It's 5300 right on the Chicago Avenue in Lockwood, right on the corner. It's beautiful off up in there.
Right
It's
here.
very
Just
relaxing.
established.
That's going to be Tuesday at
6 p.m.